Welcome everyone to another episode of the world's greatest news and reviews.
Giving you opinions about nerd stuff is our superpower.
I'm Captain Mao.
I'm your boy, T. Crawler.
And I'm Weapon 2. We're getting it done. Laying it down brat brat for episode 3-1.
Nice.
That's kind of hardcore.
That was the most gangster intro.
It's because I'm from the streets.
You are from the street. I mean, you live on a street.
Well, there's
actually,
streets.
it's a cul-de-sac.
I mean,
quite nice cul-de-sac.
How do you get anywhere if there's no streets?
So you come from the streets.
Everybody uses the streets.
It's kind of gangster.
That was pretty gangster. That's pretty good. It's fitting, though, because we are in episode 31 of the world's greatest podcast. Thank you all for joining us on this new episode. T. Crawler, welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to have you here at the lair of righteousness and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Long title. I'm glad it's never going to change. Right, Weapon 2?
Yes. Welcome to the world's greatest hall of courage and the vanquishing of evildoers.
Wait, what? That is...
Welcome to the world's greatest hall of courage and vanquishing of evildoers.
Okay, so that is arguably a better name.
I just got used to the last name.
That's not the same. Are you saying that our lair, I assume for security reasons, is going to change its
We're going to
name?
have to continually change the
And
name. For security reasons, you're absolutely correct.
And possibly location. I'm not saying it's a secret location every single time, but
it's hidden. It's a hidden lair.
Definitely
It's
hidden.
top secret.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where it's at.
Wait, what are we calling it now?
He forgot.
Today,
I forgot already.
this is the world's greatest hall of courage and the vanquishing of evildoers.
And I feel like it's going to be
Vanquishing of
called
evildoers.
that for at least 2 weeks.
Exactly.
I think the name's going to change. I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to change every 2 weeks.
And vanquishing of
Maybe.
evildoers. Okay, I got it.
All right, awesome.
All right.
That's a dope name. I like it. That's great. I'm on board. And today's episode, T. Crawler, what are we going to be talking about? What are we going to be doing?
We're going to be doing a little bit of everything.
We are going to be doing a little bit of everything. No top 5 countdown, as we mentioned in the previous episode. But what is our main segment going to be? It's going to be another little game that we came up with that I think will be fun.
I don't even know what did we even name the segment?
We didn't name it anything. No, we're just tell the fans what we're going to be doing. Tell the kids at home.
The one I was talking about, or what you're talking about?
Oh God, I hate everything you stand for as a person. So today on this podcast, we are going to argue what
on the
the
spot.
best MCU movie of all time is.
That.
But there's a caveat. Did I use that word correctly?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, nailed
nice
it.
Work.
First try. Up top. Ferda. So the caveat is that we are going to have to randomly select an MCU movie, and no matter which one it is, argue with our counterparts that is the greatest MCU movie of all time. Come on, Ant-Man. So that'll be a lot of fun. We are also going to tell you what we're into now. And then we're going to end with a little segment that Weapon 2 came up with, where we're going to get a little bit deeper with our nerdiness. And what are we going to do exactly, Weapon
We're going
2?
to talk about characters that we like from comic books or sci-fi or basically any genre that we feel is a good character, why we think they're a good character, what we think makes a good character, why they appeal to us and maybe to others. That's what we've decided, Captain Mal.
I'm on board. That sounds
Oh, hell
amazing.
yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. All right, guys, well, let's start with what segment, Weapon 2?
Hey, everybody out there. So, hey, what you doing with your free time? What you doing when you don't have anything else to do and you want to recreation and what you doing? Hey, out there, what you doing?
I almost thought you were going to do the ebbity. Hi, what are you into now? T. Crawler, start with you.
All right, so the things that I'm into is it's kind of I don't know if you guys have watched, or you should have watched already, the episode that we did with General Thaddeus.
Hey, you know what? I want to say something. I appreciate everybody who just listens to our audio as much as the people who watch the video on YouTube.
I do too.
I want to tell you, you're equally as important to me.
Right.
I agree, but if you could still go to the YouTube page and just like and subscribe, that'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Still
Yes,
listen to the
go
audio.
there and like and subscribe.
Live your life how you want to live it. I appreciate you.
And Captain
But-
Mal does like people watching him. So
I really-
You can
Yeah.
go
I mean, if
to
you
the
just
YouTube
want to
and
listen
subscribe,
to it
that'd
while
be awesome.
staring longingly at a photograph of me, that's fine.
that'll work.
It-
As long as you subscribe to the YouTube channel, that will work.
Further, thanhanks. We appreciate
Whatever
you.
works.
Anyway, T. Crawler, what are you doing?
So during that episode, we were talking about things that we're watching to get us through the pandemic.
Okay.
You guys had made some suggestions, and I've heard these suggestions numerous times, and I think that this time I was just like, I'm going to watch it. So one of the things that I'm into is I finally started watching The Office. Freaking hilarious. Like, I saw episode here or there, and I didn't think, I was like, I probably wouldn't really get into that, but man, that thing, it is funny. Like, there's so many times I literally laugh out loud, and Jim and the shit that he does to Dwight is freaking hilarious. Like, my favorite so far, I'm on season 5, just started season 5, but the episode, I believe it's in season 4, where he's like beats Bears Battlestar Galactica, and he's like dressed like Dwight.
So then he's like, fact, black bears are the best type of bear. Well, that's debatable.
And he's talking about Jim, that's not funny. Identity theft is, blah blah. It's freaking hilarious. Like, he gets so into it, and it's like, even though he knows Jim's fucking with him, he still gets into it. Like, when he forwarded his cell phone to his like Jim's headpiece, it's like, this is Dwight. And he's like, then he breaks his cell phone, and then he just like, and the office phone actually got forwarded to Jim's phone. It's freaking, like, just the things that he does is freaking hilarious. So The Office is one of the things.
Did you get to the episode where Dwight's competing against the competing against the website for sales?
Yes.
And they're fucking with him, talking to him like it's like Skynet come alive and shit. That was good stuff.
Yeah, I love that Jim and Pam go back and forth, and they tag team and like mess with him, like they do it. It's a team effort, and it's freaking awesome. So that's one of the things I'm into. Are we just going down to our whole list, or are we going down the row, or what are we doing?
How many things do you have?
Yeah, how many?
We were like only going to have one or two, bro.
Yeah, how many do you got?
Shit, I got a few, because I like to go funny and serious. And so the other thing, I'll just mention 2. Okay, the other thing is The Last Kingdom. I finally started watching that.
Finally, T. Crawler.
You're really catching up with some good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm really
welcome
impressed.
to 10 podcasts ago.
I'm really into.
What do you think of that, though? I was really excited for you to watch that,
and because I think I would love it even if I didn't watch the other Viking series, the Vikings. But watching that and watching this is like, frick, it drew me in from the beginning, and I pick a couple things because I go from funny to serious, because man, that show makes you want to fight, slice people up, like get into a battle. Like I'm like, I get like kind of this aggression, like so I had to watch something funny, so I go to The Office for the next episode. So I go back and forth. So those are 2 of the things I'm into.
Nice. Good call. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Last Kingdom is probably my favorite show right now.
It's
like,
really
I love
good.
that show. And The Office is funny. So Thaddeus, again, in that episode, he said that it was leaving Netflix, so that prompted my rewatch. And laughing my ass off. And you even watched a couple of episodes at my place, and we were it's funny watching your reactions when I know shit's coming up, because then it's just funny for the first time all over again.
Every time you do that,
it's great times.
Yeah, when it still
and
reminds
again,
me of the Red
this
Wedding.
is me watching him watch The Office. Like, just waiting for it. But all right, good stuff, T-Crawler. What am I into now? So I only have one, and it was one that I watched today, and it's a little movie called The New Mutants. And if you want to know what I think about it, check out our review for The New Mutants that Weapon 2 and I did, that is live on the YouTubes right now. I'm not going to give anything away. If you want to know what I thought, check it out. Spoilers, it was a good movie. Weapon 2, go ahead.
Well, Captain Mal, I also watched The New Mutants. Yeah,
it's almost like we reviewed that already. Are we in the future or in the past? Time's a construct. I don't know.
Scott.
We're in the something. You know what else I've been watching?
What else?
On Netflix, I'm watching Aunt Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun.
Oh, what is this?
That is the most insanely hilarious show. If you get offended, don't watch it. It is insanity at its finest. There are parts in that show where I start laughing my ass off and can't stop laughing. So I'm gonna tell you about one thing in the beginning of, I believe it's episode 2, where they start a song called Cup of Brown. Oh my goodness! By the end of that thing, I was laughing so hard I couldn't even. It was just hilarious. So, if you don't mind a little bit of cursing and maybe some absurdity, it's pretty fun. Aunt Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun.
Nice. Okay. That it?
Yeah.
Well played, sir.
That was 2.
What was that on? Was that on?
Netflix.
Was that on?
That was on Netflix.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sweets. And that is what we're into. Or as Weapon 2 calls it, hey, what do you know? What are you doing? What are you into? What are you into? All right, so let's move on to, I don't know what we're going to call this segment, but it's going to be what is the best MCU movie of all time? All right, so we didn't actually discuss
Fight to the death.
rules or parameters for this. So what I'm thinking is we each take a turn randomly generating an MCU movie, right? And then I say on the spot, that person, after he generates, has to give a quick argument as to why that's the greatest MCU movie of all time. We'll go down the line, and then I think we should do one more kind of run through after we've heard the other people's arguments, and then try to like rebuttal to that.
So we're keeping the same movies, but then we're going to get
so we're going to hear
through?
everybody's opening argument, and then we're going to argue why ours is better than theirs.
Got it.
Does that sound good?
Sounds
that sound
great.
fun? No?
Where do we
I
start?
don't even know.
What we're doing?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, we're.
Hey,
Well,
we're just happy you
We'll
showed
start.
up.
We'll start at my end
And
of the table,
so is Dan
and
Cole,
T Crawler
so-
will be all caught up by the
Yeah,
time we
okay.
get to his
All
end.
right, so you want me to pick it, or you just want to do it?
Hit the randomizer, man.
Ready?
Do it.
And
Boom.
choose. Your movie is not fair. Not fair.
Infinity War.
Damn it.
Well, folks, let me tell you why this is the best.
I'm gonna get a bad movie watch.
the best
I think
Damn
I'm
it.
MCU movie. You
Should
see?
we time this? Let's only give each other a minute.
Okay.
All right, hang on. And yeah. Ready? Yeah, we don't fuck around with the world's greatest music reviews. Go.
Well, you see, what happened was in the MCU, you had a culmination of 20 movies?
19 at the time.
19 at the time, where I mean, basically, Infinity War and Endgame are a two-parter. Infinity War sets the stage for Endgame. It's when we see everybody come together, everything's happening, we're fighting for the universe. It culminates in the snap, the most epic and torturing part of this thing, where we see half of the universe and our beloved characters in the MCU disappear, turn to dust, and we don't know what in the world's going to happen. We leave that movie wanting more. We want answers. We feel like we want to cry.
10 seconds.
It's the best. I'm telling you, that's why it's the best. Without that, we don't get Endgame. I'm just saying. That's why it's the best.
And time. I hope so bad that I get Endgame. Because, like, you would have set up my argument for me right there.
Okay.
All right.
See what you
All
got.
right. I'm a little...
I'm gonna make sure you don't cheat.
Do I look like someone who would cheat?
Yes.
Do not answer that in the comments. All right. Ready?
Please answer that in the comics.
Okay. And hitting the button. Iron Man. Okay. I can work with this. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Weapon 2, if you would like to time me.
What? I just push this blue button?
Just hit the zeros, man. Hit the zero.
And go.
Iron Man is the best MCU movie because it started it all. It spanned the most expansive, most thought out, most realized cinematic universe in the history of movies. You have Robert Downey Jr., who at the time was an actor nobody wanted to hire. He didn't even make the most money in that movie. For freaking Howard, whatever, the dude who played Rhodey did. And he became a household name. He became the superhero of his generation. This movie was fun. It was action-packed. It literally sowed the seeds
30
to
seconds.
what became the most amazing universe in all of history. Robert Downey Jr. became synonymous with a B-level character. That's what people don't remember, is Iron Man was a B-level character in the comic books. He was nobody's favorite, and he became the most popular superhero of a fucking generation. Children have grown up with this character being their favorite, and
10
their
seconds.
icon and their hero. He spawned 23 movies in a cinematic universe. Kevin Feige is a fucking genius, and John
Time.
Favreau, amazing.
I'm nervous.
That was fun. Sure. Good times. All right. T. Crawler, are you ready for your choice?
No.
You ready? Do you want to hit the button? Or you want me to hit it?
Go ahead.
All right, and bam, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Oh, yes. Ant-Man and
Tell us why that's the best movie,
Why,
bro.
T-Crawler, is Ant-Man and the Wasp the best movie in the MCU? Whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer. Shh. Let me know when you're ready. No, okay. And 3,
Ready?
2, 1, go.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is the best movie in the MCU.
Whoa.
Simply because you have it's a continuation of the story where you get introduced to the Ant-Man and you figure out the I don't know, the freaking world that they go into, I forgot what it's called, the dimension they go into where they shrink and go into the whatever
Quantum realm.
Thank
him?
Thank
What
you.
are you doing?
This is too crazy. Anyway, so you have that, and then you have the female. Name, what's her name? Ghost that she's trying to.
Oh shit! 30 seconds. Actually,
and what they're
less.
doing anyway. So you get Ant and the Wasp. They're like working together, and they're doing things, and like things are getting big, and things are going small, whatever. So what Andy's like, he's like
Getting big, going small.
it's the best movie because if you didn't have that movie, you wouldn't have Ant being stuck in the quantum realm when the snap happens, and then you wouldn't have him coming back out to help during the end game. That's why it's the best movie.
God. This is the best movie because if you like small shit that gets big and big shit that gets small, this is all you, bro. Wow.
I knew I was gonna get one of those fucking movies.
Wow.
Either the Ant-Man or that one. It was like, gosh, damn it.
That was fucking gold.
Yeah, I want to watch that movie.
That was good times. Oh, I can't wait. All right.
Gosh,
Weapon
dang it.
C, are you ready for your
I'm ready.
closing arguments? And go.
Well, Captain Mal, I know you said that Iron Man was the best movie, but here's the thing. Iron Man was the beginning. Infinity War was the beginning of the end. With Iron Man, nobody knew what this was going to turn into. It was a good movie, but nobody knew any more characters. They didn't know where it was going to go. There was nothing. It was really a start with no investment other than this one character. Whereas with Infinity War, we've invested ourselves in an entire cinematic universe
30 seconds.
of superheroes and beloved characters who are all fighting for the very existence of half of the entire universe. They're trying to overtake this tyrant Thanos, who's going to decimate half the population of an entire universe, and he succeeds. Okay, at the end of this, leaving
10
all our
seconds.
characters wondering what's going to happen next. That is why Infinity War is the best movie.
Okay. Time.
Amen. Can I get a hallelujah?
Well played, sir. Mm-hmm. And hit that button whenever you're ready.
Boom, go.
Oh my God, you are totes adorbs. You ended your last argument with, without Infinity War, we don't get Endgame. And we get Endgame. Why is Endgame so amazing, that emotional punch? Why? I am Iron Man, tied all the way back to the first fucking movie when he said those words. The death of Tony Stark was the most emotionally impactful thing to happen in a superhero movie of the last 10 years because Iron Man laid the foundation. Without Iron Man, we don't have Infinity War. We don't have Endgame. If that movie fucking flopped, we don't have a Marvel Cinematic Universe.
30
We don't have
seconds.
any of this. This changed the game. Every studio changed from having a format of trilogies to an expanded multi-fucking movie, multi-character universe because of Iron Man. And yeah, we didn't know where anything was going. We didn't know the characters, that what was going to happen or what it was going to spawn, but what we did know is that was a good fucking movie. You left the theater and you were excited and happy, and I had a good time. Also,
10
post-credit
seconds.
scene, freaking Nick Fury shows up. Oh, Avengers Initiative. You lose your shit. Now nobody leaves a fucking movie theater anymore because of Iron Man, because we all know that shit's going to happen after the credits because Iron Man set up everything. Woo! All right.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I want to fight, bro.
All right, people, you heard our argument, so go ahead and in the comments tell us what you think.
Well,
about-
hey, we got one more. We got one more.
No, we're good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
No.
T-Crawler's gotta go.
No, you're right. T-Crawler can't convince us that Ant-Man and the Wasp is the best movie. You're right. I don't know why I didn't.
I noticed
Yeah,
how
go.
like you and I in our second round were arguing against each other. We didn't even mention him. Sorry.
I'm
It's
excited.
not you. It's
I'm excited to hear why it's the
convince
best.
me.
Tell us.
Convince me. And go.
All right, so the reason the Ant-Man and the Wasp is the best movie, because without the quantum realm, without actually being introduced to the quantum realm, there is no going back in time to help them to get the stones that they need for the end game to bring everything back to where it was. If you didn't have Ant-Man stuck in the quantum realm, you wouldn't have the rat literally hitting the button and bringing him back and him helping to save the day. So without any of that, you wouldn't have the stones to bring everything back in the end game. And
30 seconds.
So you would only have Infinity War where Thanos would win, and there was no way they would actually be able to go back and get all the stones to bring everything back with the snap and with the end game ending the way it was. So That's why Ant-Man and the Wasp is the best.
You still got 15 seconds.
Yeah,
I don't need
fill it
any
in.
more.
Oh, that's it? Mic
Oh,
drop?
you,
Mic drop?
you've already
Don't drop
made
the mic, though, but for real, though, mic
Oh,
drop.
my goodness.
All right.
That was the least convincing argument I think I've ever
By
heard.
a mile.
But
But what are you going to do with Ant-Man and the Wasp? What are you going to do with Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I'm
Like,
glad you left 15 seconds on the table. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
Everything else would just be rambling.
My fear going into this was I was going to get Ant-Man. And not because that's a horrible movie, but compared to what the possibilities were.
Yeah.
And I mean, I clearly won. But I mean, like, Weapon 2, he did a good job. That was solid.
what
That
we
was a
need is
solid argument.
for objective people to
Yes.
decide that who they think
Yeah.
made the better argument
So not
for
William
which
Scott
movie
Hale on Facebook.
was the best. The best. I don't know who that is.
like he's gonna vote
Was
for
the
Weapon
I don't,
Two.
know,
best.
I don't know who that motherfucker is, but I feel like he's
MCU.
going to vote for Weapon 2. Yeah, so sound off in the comments. What is the best MCU movie of the three that we said randomly? So, what movie was the best? Who made the more convincing argument? I personally am going to vote for T. Crawler. It's going to be a sympathy vote.
Sympathy vote.
He's getting
I
the
don't need your
sympathy vote.
sympathy, damn it.
It is going to be good times. Let us know if this was fun. If you enjoyed this, let us know other franchises or anything like that you want us to play this game with. This was an experiment. First time doing it. I thought this was fun as shit. This turned out to be a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
It was
So,
a lot
yeah.
more fun. It was
Yeah.
pressure, but it was a lot more fun.
It was great,
when you
yeah.
actually started.
I like thinking on my feet. It's good times.
I don't, but it's fun.
All right.
This was a big old episode of fun, just like Aunt Donna's house. Big old episode of fun.
All right. So that is that. Let's move on to probably the more in-depth segment that we're gonna have, and we can wind down a little bit. I'm a little amped up. All right. Whew.
Take a couple deep breaths.
Woosah. Remember your pressure
Everything's
points.
gonna be okay.
Right here. Serenity now. All right. What is this segment called? What are we gonna call this? Weapon 2.
A deep dive
Ooh. Did you just make that up?
into I just did, man.
You're as witty as you are good looking.
Oh, that's what everybody says. So deep dive into characters and what they're all about and what they mean to each and every one of us. Everybody.
Dramatic pause. I don't know if you're listening on the audio platforms. 1, I do love you as much as our video viewers. 2, dramatic pause. You didn't get to see his face. All right, Weapon 2. This is your segment. Why don't you start?
All right. So when I started this, I was thinking about comic book characters, but I think we're going to talk about all kinds of different characters in sci-fi,
Different media. Yeah.
different media. So I'm going to start kind of where I was in my beginning. So the kind of characters, superheroes in comic books that appealed to me were, there's a place for, of course, Superman, who was the first, he's the most important superhero because he was the first superhero, but he tended to always be kind of this always cut and dry, black and white. He was the good guy. He's a good guy. Everything about him is good. Pretty simple when it comes to that. And the other thing that kind of didn't appeal to me all the way was how overpowered he was. So for me, a character like Thor was a Superman type character, but he couldn't just push the earth around. He couldn't just juggle planets. He was more leveled down power-wise to where, and there's a little more complexity to it because Superman came to this planet without any choice of his, no other choice. His planet was destroyed. He was a baby. He was sent here. Of course, when he grew up and became an adult, he could go to any other planet. He chose to stay on Earth and be a superhero here. But Thor came to Midgard of his own free will. He had a home. His home wasn't destroyed. He came here. He decided that he loved Midgard so much that he wanted to stay here and be a hero for Earth, and that was his own choosing. So that's why a character like Thor is one of my favorite characters. I also tend to like characters who are a little bit loners or outsiders, or have been through a lot of stuff. So you have somebody like Wolverine, who's my favorite comic book character, who has been through a lot of torture and programming and all kinds of stuff in his past, who is kind of an anti-hero at times, kind of a loner, doesn't really always play well with others. That kind of complexity to a character is something that appeals to me. Along those same lines are Namor, who's basically a half-breed, Atlantean and mutant, who also the whole mutant concept in comic books is interesting, because one of our biggest flaws as human beings is we're always trying to find somebody who we are better than, or who we don't like, or who we want to say is an enemy, or we want to ostracize. And so we do that for all types of reasons as human beings. It seems to be the biggest flaw for human beings, and that's a total description of mutants. They pick these mutants are different. They have powers. We hate them. So we want to do everything to destroy them. And so you have, along the lines of Namor, who's a mutant, you have all other kinds of mutants. You have Jean Grey, who's another one of my favorite characters. Beast, who's one of my favorite characters. They all are mutants. They have, I like Beast because he didn't like the way he looks because of his mutant abilities, so he tries to genetically change himself and makes himself even more strange looking, and that's kind of the flaw of trying to change yourself and winding up a worse outcome than you had hoped for. And then, of course, Hulk's another one of my favorite because he's basically the most misunderstood and unjustly despised person, because he's seen as a monster, and all he's running around is, no one like Hulk. Hulk smash. Hulk sad. I angry. He's almost like a Frankenstein character who wants to do the right thing and sometimes just smashes things and doesn't know what to do, because he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. So there's some of mine, and I want to yield the floor to Captain Mal.
No, so we didn't actually talk about format of this. So I don't know how we wanted to have some crosstalk here. So what I was doing was allowing you to explain, and then I felt like T. Crawler and I should touch on your characters,
sure,
or maybe give our opinions on them, or
sure,
discuss how they relate to our whatever. We're just winging it.
Yeah.
We are competently fucking guessing, right? So
right,
as we are in life. So
we're just having a discussion here.
So a couple of things that I wanted to know when you were talking about X-Men, right? Mm-hmm. As a child, X-Men were one of the comic books that got me into comic books. Right alongside Batman.
Yep,
it was X-Men and Spider-Man for me that got me in as a kid, yep, mostly because of the 90s animated cartoons, mm-hmm, for all of those, and then I dived into that. And I think the thing that got me with X-Men, and I think what got a lot of people with X-Men, is they are, everybody in the room, please silence your cell phones and be courteous to one another.
This is
you
really
motherfucker. So with the 90s animated cartoon series for all of those shows, that's how I kind of got into it. I think a lot of people did. And I think what hooked me with X-Men specifically, and what hooked a lot of people, is they are an allegory for discrimination.
Yes.
If you're a minority, if you are, homosexual, whatever it is, whatever the thing is that you feel you're a minority group and you feel oppressed and you feel like people just hate you because of you, even if you just feel different, even if you just feel, you don't got to be anything different, but even if you just feel like an outcast, it hits a string in your human psyche that a lot of people feel different and wrong, and that is like apply metaphor, you know what I mean? And that is exactly what it is. And the reason that the X-Men and transversely like the cartoon in the 90s, to me, it's so deep because I didn't even understand half of it when I was a kid. Like, I thought it was good. I just thought, because, Wolverine, stabby, Cyclops, laser. Right. And then I watch it now and I'm just like, oh my God, like there are so many like social issues that they are touching on that are relevant today and will always be relevant that I just straight over my head. You know what I mean? So they are very important and very topical. And I feel like that's why a lot of people relate to the X-Men so much. On your Thor Superman thing, I think part of the reason Superman gets a lot of flack for being overpowered and all that kind of stuff isn't so much his power level, because yeah, he's super powerful, but so are a lot of characters. Like you say that Thor's your favorite character, one of your favorite characters, but his power level isn't that much lower than Superman's comparatively to a human person, right? But I think where they dropped the ball with Superman earlier is he's too perfect.
Yeah.
Everything about his perfect. Thor is an inherently flawed character, and he has an arc that is established right away, and you see growth in that character from the beginning. Versus Superman, it wasn't until, at least to my knowledge, very recently that they started like developing his personality and that character and making him a little bit more flawed, and thus humanizing the character and making him more, in my opinion, relatable, and then making him more likable. So that's just kind of what do you think, T. Crawler?
No, I'm with you I'm on board with all that. I mean, from the 90s cartoons, I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but still starting with Saturday morning cartoons used to be a thing before cartoons were on 24 hours and your channels which cartoons are on all the time. You had Saturday morning cartoons where you would see all this stuff. And so the Spider-Man, the X-Men, those type of things. I mean, for me, like there's other cartoons like G.I. Joe, Thundercats, stuff like that. But to elaborate on what you said, those cartoons really, they caught my attention. The stuff with the mutants that you were saying, you could right away tell what Stan Lee was getting at because once I started watching the cartoons, I started getting into the comics, and I'm not reading them in depth, but just the comics that I would come across, reading them, and then seeing the line from people always outing the mutants. They're always thinking that the mutants weren't as good as them, or because they were different, they didn't like them. So what you were saying about them, in being the almost like the outcast sometimes in a lot of these things, it appeals to a lot of people out there. Even to this day, with some of the newer mutants that they're making for like the younger Avengers, or not even so much the Avengers, but the mutants, that the new mutants that they're doing out there, they're still, they're of different sexual orientations and stuff like that. So they're still appealing to a lot of broad spectrum a wide spread of people.
The X-Men and that whole genre of the mutants have always kind of led the charge in diversity. It feels like it's in comics.
And so and then what you said with Superman, this is because he's the Boy Scout, because he's so good, and not till recently, like you said, you actually start getting somewhat of a personality from this guy. He's not. So for me, it was when I started reading the Injustice comics.
Dude, and so I was gonna say, for me, it was New 52. And then Man of Steel took inspiration from that. Okay. And then Injustice came around that same time period, I believe.
Because for me, once I got to see
what Superman could be,
right? Yeah, what he could be, it's like holy shit! Like this is crazy. But then
you appreciate the Boy Scout when he starts murdering people,
right? So even in the animated movie where I can't remember the title of, I'm sure you do, but where Batman has a plan for all the Justice League members.
Justice League Doom, inspired by the Justice League comic, The Tower of Babel. Bam.
So he has a plan, he has. So he has he knows all the Justice League members' weaknesses, but somebody hacks into the computer and finds it out, and they basically attack them with their weaknesses that Batman had stored in the computer or whatever. So, but with that, like at the end. Where Superman wanting him to keep that ring of kryptonite, he knew that, I think you should keep this. Basically, gave it to him, hold on to this, because Superman at that point, that's another thing I saw. Like, okay, this guy isn't just a goody. He actually knows that, I can be controlled and something bad could happen.
Right. So we have to talk about this scene, because it's one of my favorite Batman Superman moments in anything. And in this scene. So yeah, you're right. So in the comics, it's Ra's al Ghul. In the animated movie, it is Hugo
Strange?
No, the dude Vandal Savage.
Oh, Savage.
Way off. It was Vandal Savage, first try. And so yes, he steals Batman's plans to take out every single member of the Justice League and incorporates them, whatever. So at the end of the movie, in the comic, they're having a discussion, a meeting in the Watchtower, where they're basically voting whether or not to kick Batman out of the Justice League. And Batman's like, well, I don't need to wait for a vote. If you people don't understand why I had these contingencies in place, I'm out.
Yeah,
and he walks off like a boss. And Superman follows him, and he's getting the teleporter ready to send him back to Earth. And he's like, Bruce, I understand. I get it. I get why you had a plan in place. I'm not mad about that. But are you really so arrogant as to tell me that you didn't have a plan in place to stop you?
Yeah.
And he's like, I did. It was called the Justice League.
Right.
And then Superman's like, well, now I know I'm giving this to the right person. Bam! Kryptonite
There
ring.
you go.
Ah, all the feels.
It was a
all
great-
the feels.
it was a
Did
great
you see
scene.
this? Did you see this? It's so good.
It's a great
It's
scene.
so good.
It was a great scene, seriously. Like you said, the way you explain it with all the detail into it, yes, it's a great scene, and it just makes like, and it's crazy because I think it's one of the first couple of animated movies that I saw was like, they make you. They get you like it's just like a regular cartoon. It's they really put a lot into it to get you in the feels, like that one and the Red Hood with that scene where Robin's going off on Batman, wondering why he didn't why he can't kill Joker.
Joker.
So,
Which settles the argument between who could beat who with Superman and Batman, because of course Batman just said right there that the Justice League could easily beat him. That's all they need. Whereas there needs to be a secret weapon for Superman, this kryptonite. So there you go. Superman wins.
Kal-El is out there like,
yes, Superman wins. Justice League beats Batman easily. That's all
I'm
we
telling
need.
you that Kal-El is out there.
No.
Probably in Brazil somewhere.
So 6 superpowered gods
Right.
will take out a human person,
Right.
and that's a win.
Sure.
Okay. Totes. That's
But
your
they
win.
need extra
no,
stuff
Kal-El,
for
look,
Superman.
I'm looking at you, Kal-El. That's your win. That's what you're gonna claim as a
what
win.
he's gonna
No, you're not welcome back. I can't wait till you come back.
Jeez. All right.
Yeah, so good choices. Yeah,
right.
interesting picks. I could relate to a lot of those. Okay, I guess I'll go. And so when Weapon 2 told me this, immediately 3 characters popped in my head that I wanted to talk to. 3 of my favorite characters in anything ever. If you know me at all, I have mentioned these characters a lot. And they all kind of, I've never actually directly compared the 3 of them. I just always thought I liked them for separate reasons. But when I was talking to Weapon 2 before filming this podcast, I realized that they do share a common trait, but then that trait kind of splinters off into their own thing. So, obvi, number 1 is Batman, right? And I feel like any hero, any good hero, any not just superhero, but any character in the story going on the hero's journey usually suffers some kind of tragedy, right? Name any superhero, they've lost somebody.
Yeah.
And it's usually because they need to learn that there's something worth fighting for. They need a tragedy. They need to fight for something other than themselves. It's usually a humbling experience in doing so, right? And so Batman, probably the most famous origin story of all time, this side of Spider-Man, is that, his parents died. And he snapped and became a fucking sociopath, if we're being totally honest, and is doing some real crazy shit, really violent shit, and he's not helping the world. He's helping his own trauma and his own reaction to his parents' death. But the thing that I love about him is how much of a loner he is. And you've mentioned that when you're talking about your picks, how disconnected he is from everything. Even the Justice League. Like, half the time, he's really kind of a disgruntled member. He's just kind of there because he knows that somebody should be overseeing these superpowered beings. And he's basically just like, all right, well, you guys go do your thing. That's not going to work out. And when you need my help, and you will, call me, and then I'll be
Well,
there
they
to
need
help.
funding as well.
Also, they need the funding. Yeah, they need all the money.
There's nobody else that's funding the Justice League.
But Batman is inherently, at least in his mind, alone. Despite having spawned the quote-unquote Bat family and all these people that would gladly lay down their life for him, he feels alone. And like that little boy who's just trying to fucking fight to save his parents, right?
Right.
So another one of my favorite characters of all time is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Surprise, surprise. So she is chosen, as a slayer is, she's called to be the slayer. Now, the metaphor of being alone is a little more on the nose with her because she is literally the singular slayer in the world and all the planets. She is empowered with the strength and speed and all that to fight the vampires, and she trains and fights and kills them. And it's really incredibly brutal because every time a slayer dies, the next one is called, and it's usually about the age of 15, and they rarely make it to their 18th birthday. And they're completely and utterly controlled by this thing called the Watchers Council. And Buffy, one of the common themes that she struggles with throughout the show is she's lived longer. By the time the show's over, she's like 23, and she's lived longer than 99% of the Slayers ever. And a huge part of that is her connections and her friendships. Her friendships and her connections to the world have not only directly saved her life, but grounded her more. So she doesn't feel as isolated as other Slayers have, but she actually does. Like, she says it in several episodes, particularly in season 5. It's kind of the theme of the season, where she feels this fucked up inferiority complex, but on top of that, a seniority complex on top of it, because she knows she's better than everybody. She's better than everybody because she has to be, because she's the one at the end of the day. All her friends can be helpful, they can give ideas, they can all, but at the end of the day, it's her, and it's her that has to fight to save the world. And she's better than everybody because of it, but also she's not as good as everybody because she never gets to really live in that world. She's never going to have a normal job. She's never going to have a normal boyfriend. She's never going to have a life the way she would want to. She's never going to have the white picket fence and kids and all that because she's not a part of it, yet she has to be the one fighting for it. And I feel like this is a common theme, a common trope with superheroes, is that they are always the one fighting and sacrificing what they want. I mean, Aunt May says it in Spider-Man, like, you have to sacrifice and, like, give up the things you want, you know what I mean? And Batman is the personification of that. He doesn't do anything that he wants to do. He's just constantly, he is Batman. He's like, he could be a billionaire playboy having fun, but he doesn't do that at all. He just fights fucking crime. And Buffy, and then the spin-off series Angel, who is also a vampire with a soul, he's a champion. He's fighting the same fight as Buffy.
But also Batman made that choice, whereas Buffy the Vampire Slayer didn't.
Right, which is why I feel she's more of a personification of that choice. But also Batman's intriguing because it's his damage psychologically that's making him do it. But so Angel says in an episode where Cordelia, who's a character on both shows, and so Buffy and Angel's relationship didn't work out for various reasons. Angel and her relationship didn't work out, and she's talking about how they missed their chance, they missed their opportunity because, like, End of the World shit was happening. And Angel says a line that really kind of resonated in me, where he's like, maybe we don't get that. Maybe we can never have that, because if we get it, there's something that would be more important to us than the mission, than the fight. And I think that 100% rings true and resonates with a lot of these characters, that they could have love interests, they could have things they care about, they could even have children they care about. But for all of them, there has to be this disconnect, because it has to be about saving the world as opposed to individual, you know, pleasure or life or anything like that. You know what I mean? So the third character I want to talk about real quick, and then I'll let T. Carla go, is Captain Malcolm Reynolds, who... Another one, the reason he's so interesting to me is because this is a man who 100% believed in the cause he was fighting for. Yeah. And then that cause got curb stomped in front of his face. So then he just didn't care. Then he just wanted to go his own way. He didn't care about standing up and fighting the bad guys. He didn't want to stand up and fight the bad guys. He's not going to say no to a fight, you know, if it crosses his path, but he's not on a mission. He wants to be alone. He wants to be this jaded person that doesn't give a damn about anything. But inherently, deep down, he's not that guy. No. And so he surrounds himself with these people that, by any logical right, he should cast away, he shouldn't bother with, but they become his family. They become his ties. But all of these characters share something in that there is essentially an opposite that they face. Batman, a great example of this, is in Crisis on Infinite Earths, when he's facing off with Owlman, who is the alternate version of him, who's sadistic and just wants to destroy the entire multiverse. And Batman even says, you know, we are very similar, but the difference is you stared into the abyss. We both stared into the abyss. When it stared back, you blinked. Basically saying they both went down this super horrible path, and it's just one decision or another that led them to being the total opposite ends of the spectrum. Buffy, that is represented by Faith. Basically, she is her shadow self in this series. She is another Slayer that is called through crazy shenanigans, but she's basically Buffy's id. She does what she wants. She fucks who she wants. She fights who she wants. She parties all the time. Has no like sense of remorse for any of her actions. Inadvertently ends up killing a person. Spirals down this and like horrible psychological mess. And the reason she loses it and becomes a villain is because she doesn't have the people grounding her. And so in Malcolm Reynolds' case, it's the operative in Serenity. 100% believes hard what he is doing is the right thing. He's a monster. Mm-hmm. He will kill women and children if he has to accomplish his goals. And when he talks about this perfect world, like we're building better worlds, all of them better worlds, but he's not going to live there. he has no place in it. He understands that. And that is Malcolm Reynolds with a couple of wrong turns. And the only reason he's not that is because the crew on Serenity grounds him and gives him some kind of connection, but he never feels completely part of it. Buffy has her connections to the world, but never feels completely part of it. Batman has his superhero family around him, Dick Grayson and Batgirl and all of them, but always feels like the outcast. So I guess what I'm getting at, the characters that I tend to relate to, even though their personalities are wildly different, are the ones that feel like they have this mission, this purpose, this thing they have to do, and feel like they are inherently an outcast and can't be a part of the world that they're fighting for, despite evidence to the fact that they can be, and people trying to pull them in and show them that they're worthy of what they're fighting for. But they believe if they do that, they're abandoning their mission. So a little bit of tragedy is interesting to me, is my point. Those are my characters.
Push and pull, because they try to pull those characters in while the characters themselves are pushing people away from them.
Exactly. Which is their own trauma, their own damage. That's a they problem. But I realized that parallel that they all kind of have to varying degrees as I was thinking about this. But those are three of my favorite characters of all time, and they're more similar than I thought when I was thinking about this. So.
Wow, that's pretty in depth. In depth.
What do you think, Weapon 2?
I think it's good. I like Han Solo for the same reasons that you probably like Malcolm Reynolds.
They are very similar.
Yes, they don't want to get involved. They're really all about themselves until they feel compelled to get involved and help others. And it's not in their nature, kind of, but then again, it is.
Great example is Han should have just left in the first movie.
Right.
He came back to help for no reason. There's no reason that he should have.
Right.
But he did.
Yes.
So.
Well, what he wants to be is this person that doesn't care about anything else and wants to be this guy who's all about him and everything, but it's just not in him. He's got something more to him. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Malcolm Reynolds and Han Solo would definitely get along drinking in a bar, and they would both shoot first. T. Crowler, what you got?
So obviously everybody knows my favorite character is Spider-Man, but I'm not going to talk about Spider-Man today. I'm going to talk about some of the other characters. Type of characters I'm drawn to are the ones that are, they're good guys, but they don't always do things the way that the general population would think a good guy should do things. Like, for instance, my second favorite character is Wolverine, and I'm pointing up there to Wolverine, but
to you audio listeners,
he's pretty, like we talked about the 90s cartoon, like he's gruff, he's like, he's angry, he has this attitude, he'll get in fights with members of his team, but when it comes down to it, he's still going to protect his team. He's still doing the right thing. He just goes about a different way. Another character that I really, along those lines, would be Raphael of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's not the leader, but he's in a group of good guys, and he's
good pool.
He always has this. He's gruff again and rough around the edges, and does things the way he wants to do it. He doesn't always agree with the way the team wants to do it, but he's gonna get things done. And so with that, I was like, okay, Wolverine, Raphael, like the Punisher, that's kind of an obvious one with those kind of things. But if we're not just doing superhero comics, I'm going to go Uhtred, son of Uhtred, right? From the Last Kingdom. Like he goes back and forth between, the Danes and the Saxons, and he keeps his oath. So there's the good in him. He keeps his oath. He's always, and they know him for that. Like that's what they know, that he's gonna, whenever he makes an oath, he keeps it no matter what. And he fights, and he does the things, and he follows through with what he's gonna do. All right, he doesn't always do it, and he gets in like when he gets in arguments with King Alfred. There's a lot of arguments where I would have been like, dude, I would just slap the shit out of this motherfucker and like leave or whatever. Like, but he takes a lot of shit, because he's keeping his oath. So he's another one of those on that list of type of characters that I'm drawn to. Like, so when I watch or read things like that with these type of characters, it really draws me in. Another one would be, it's probably part of the reason that The Witcher, like I just kind of saw him like that. When they have a way of doing things that doesn't go with the norm, like this guy's a good guy, but like look at the way he does things, and I'm drawn to those, and they're on a whole different spectrum of Spider-Man. Like if we're gonna do this segment again, I'll get into Spider-Man later, but this I wanted to really elaborate on these kind of characters because I like the fact that they don't always do things the way that everybody else would do them, but they're still doing it for good. You know, for they're helping people out, or they're whatever their good is. They're that's what they're doing. So those are some of the characters that I'm really drawn to, and I wanted to go from like a comic book to like some of the series and stuff that are out there. So that's why I picked the characters that I picked. Not too much. I don't have a lot really more to say than that. So
let us know in the comments down below, what characters do you love? Like, who are your favorite characters? Why do you relate to them? Do you think what common themes exist between the characters that you love? Elaborate in the comments. Let us know about the characters that we touched on, and also let us know what topics you want us to talk about. Like, if there's a topic that you want us to talk about, a movie that you want us to talk about, anything like that, throw it down in the comments, and we will happily discuss it and talk about it on the show or in a future video, anything like that. So, yeah. You guys good?
Please do that.
Hey, have you guys heard about?
Just want more comments.
Have you guys heard about quantum mechanics and the multiverse theory?
What?
Serious. Yes. As we were talking, I was thinking about this.
That's what you were thinking.
That's what that blank look on your face was?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking
He was deep in
Have you ever heard about that? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Quantum mechanic theory lends to a very probability that there's an infinite number of multiverses. On an atomic level, subatomic, whatever. I'm not a physicist, so I can't really get into this. I'm going to give you a
plays one on TV.
Play one on TV. If you talk to people who are like quantum physicists or whatever, they'll tell you that I think a neutron will react the same way every time, except for when it doesn't. And that's kind of the theory. They say it'll always act the same way until it doesn't. They say that the laws of physics are that for everything that happens, for every action, there's an opposite reaction. So in the laws of quantum mechanics, they say, to simplify it, every time in your life where you've made a decision, that that creates another universe where you made an opposite decision. Everything that happens, something else happened.
Hey, you're talking about the many worlds theory.
Well, I haven't heard you describe the many worlds theory.
That's exactly what you're saying.
But this is science.
There's
scientists that say that, and so they
science.
Yeah. That the laws of that atomic, that thing right there, where everything happens, there's something else that happened. That means that everything that happens in the world, there is somewhere where the opposite.
There's a version
happened.
of you making the exact opposite decision,
which is mind-boggling, because I mean that is truly infinite. So,
yeah. That's where the multiverse theory and all that comes from.
Yeah.
It's like that's one theory as to the way a multiverse could work. And then every time you make a decision, all the separate decisions that you didn't make are splintering and creating their own universes, like on the fly, right then and there.
Right.
So that's why it goes on forever. Anyway, Weapon 2. We got some stuff going on. We got a contest. What's happening? What's going on?
We have a contest that's going on, folks. So the world's greatest news and reviews, are on the road to 300. 300. We want to increase our YouTube subscribership. So what do we do to get people to subscribe? Well, one thing we do is we keep putting out entertaining videos that we hope are entertaining. The other thing we do is we give away free stuff. Now, the stuff we're giving away, if you go back and look at our other videos where we pack up boxes for subscribers and people, is a box of, a logo t-shirt, much like that. We give away, if you tell us what we're going to have you do to get in this contest, is we want to have you comment with your name and subscribe, comment with your name, share the podcast, share the giveaway information, which I post often on our Facebook page, and then you're entered. When we get to 300 and we find out who you are, we're going to draw you at random of everybody who's subscribed, and then we find out what character you like, and then I'm going to do a one-of-a-kind original drawing for you of your favorite character, and we're going to cater your box to your your character and the things you like. We'll put some comic books and a Funko Pop and all kinds of other wonderful prizes for you in that box and send it to you. P.O. Box, your home, wherever you want it to go.
Well done, sir. That's true. We appreciate you.
All that stuff.
Help us appreciate you. Help us get to 300 so we'll give you free stuff. And in case you're wondering how to follow us, T. Crawler, we got some websites. We got some social medias, don't we?
Yeah, we do have social medias.
What do we got?
Okay, so we have Twitter.
Do we have Twitter?
We have Twitter.
Confirmed? Confirm?
It's confirmed, but our most active is Instagram and Facebook.
I didn't know we had a Twitter.
We had Twitter for a while.
Okay.
But anyway, Instagram. If you really want to follow us, go to Facebook or Instagram.
There you go.
But the easiest way to follow us is to go to theworldsgreatest.net. The world's greatest, all one word, .net.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
That is how websites work. They're all one word.
I don't know. Some people, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so you go to that website, and thanks to our webmaster, Hailstorms, she has made it so easy. There's links to everything that we have there. There's a way to get to Facebook. There's a way to get to Instagram. There's a way to get to YouTube. There's a way to listen to our podcasts on there. And there's a list of all the platforms of, like, wherever our podcasts are playing. There's a link to it. You can click on there, and it'll take you there. So the easiest way to follow us is to go to theworldsgreatest.net and go from there. I mean, we even have a Weapon 2 and I have blogs on there. There's information about the members of the team. It's just it's a fun little site to go there. There's even a place to go for the merch.
There is.
This guy, Weapon 2 over here.
So if you search Stolen Cheese, all one word, on TeePublic or Redbubble.
All one word.
All one word.
Stolen Cheese.
You will find this guy's merch. You will find original artwork by this guy to my left. Right, if you're watching. Where he makes original drawings, like our TWG logo shirts, and also like the Tank Girl shirt, or Tasha. What is that called again? What is the name of this?
Hailstorm Tank Girl.
Didn't we have a shorter name?
I think.
Didn't we call it something else? Tank Storm?
Tank
Storm.
I don't know if I just made that up, but we're calling it Tank Storm.
Yeah.
Because I have a say in his drawings.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds great.
So you can find links to his sites on TeePublic and Redbubble, where you could find all of his amazing drawings that you could get on a t-shirt, on a mug, whatever floats your boat. We also have
Get your boat floated.
We also have we also have a Patreon. We have a Patreon. If you guys want to support this 2-bit operation, we have 3 tier levels, $3, $5, and $10. And if you support us, the first thing we're going to do, we've been saying it for a while, but we are going to buy a green screen.
We're doing it.
We're
pulling the trigger.
We're actually going to draw the money out after this podcast and actually get some stuff to test. We have lots of funny skits planned for you guys. We're going to film us setting up the green screen, which should be funny because none of us know what the hell we're doing. So that'll be good times, and new exciting content with all of those should be coming shortly. I'm excited.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
It's going to force you to write some fun shit. It's going to force me to learn how to do some editing shit. It's going to force T. Crawler to show up, and that's all we really want. So
yeah. I can't wait.
So,
it's gonna be awesome.
Anybody got closing thoughts?
Man, this has been a great. We did it. We did it again.
We did
folks.
it again. 31.
We did it. All of us. The world's greatest news and reviews. We did it.
Hey,
all of you out there together. We did it.
Hey, for real though, give us ideas of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Stuff you want to talk about. T. Crawler, thanks for coming. Anything to say?
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Glad I could show up.
Thank you.
There we go.
There you go.
I'm glad I'm here. And yes, please, we would love comments. We want interaction. Please, people, comment.
There you go. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the World's Greatest News and
Almost
Reviews.
sounds like we're really lonely. And we just
It really does.
Please, is there anybody out there?
This is like the world's saddest
Please
dating
let-
profile. Please,
let
please
us
like
know.
me. Please
Let us
swipe
know
right.
if you-
Please swipe
Can you
right.
hear me?
Will you swipe
Can
right on
anybody
us?
hear me?
Just swipe right. If you're feeling really froggy, give us that super like. That's when you go top to bottom.
We need a friend.
You know, in this new studio, I need to find a way to exit.
You can't storm off anymore.
Yeah.
It's great.
Stuck.
As I was trying to say, thank you for joining us on this episode of the World's Greatest News and Reviews. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.
Peace.